Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of the Collider Games podcast. My name's Dennis Den, and in studio, I'm with...
What's up, guys? It's your boy Dorian here.
And back on Skype, not in studio, unfortunately last week, Caboose. How you doing?
Doing good. Excited to still be on. Unfortunately, I'm not in office, but maybe I will be again soon.
Yeah. I think the fans enjoyed that, seeing you in studio with us. But luckily, through the magic of Skype, we can still converse.
Here,
yes.
Still here.
I always look forward to doing this show with you guys because there's always some always interesting news in the video game world and playing some games and whatnot. So one of the biggest things for this week was the highly anticipated BioWare game, Anthem. They had a live demo on IGN yesterday that we watched. And then today, supposedly, the demo came out on, is it EA Origin?
It's out like on everything, all consoles.
No, but I mean, isn't that what the EA... their system is called or whatever isn't called.
So if you have EA access on your Xbox, or I don't know if it's not available on I think EA access is an Xbox thing. If you have EA access, you can play the demo right now.
Okay.
If you pre-order the game, you can play the demo. And yeah, but this is the VIP.
Okay,
demo.
the VIP.
In just a few days, I think next week actually the demo goes live for everyone, so it goes public.
Okay, let's first talk about our impressions of just watching the live demo on IGN, then we'll talk about the actual demo itself. So, this is a game, I'm interested just because the BioWare name is behind it, because I'm a big fan of Mass Effect and Dragon Age. And this is their first original IP in, I think, 10 years, more than 10 years, I think.
Right.
So in that realm, I'm already interested. The graphics look gorgeous. Looks fantastic. I think the demo they were playing on a PC, so I don't know if that will be exactly indicative of what you're going to see on the console, just because, I'm sure they had beefed up PCs. But it relatively, it'll be in the ballpark.
Yeah.
To me, it looks like a combination of, and, as I don't know, people remember this game, but Phantasy Star Online, which was this game for the Dreamcast where you partnered up with 3 other people and then went on, adventures together, upgrading your weapons. Obviously, this one you're flying in mech suits, which they call javelins, and but the whole kind of purpose or the way you interact with people, you're going on these missions together. It's an open world, but it's not like there's no PvP. You can play it solo, but it's just more fun with other players. It just reminds me of kind of like a Destiny / Phantasy Star Online, using their design aesthetic and their storyline. So I'm excited. I've been hearing about this game for a while, but it's one of those things where it's like I think you and me, Caboose, were talking about how we're kind of like cautiously optimistic. Now I'm kind of getting into that more like less cautious and more getting hyped. More getting hyped for it. So, Caboose, what do you think of that live demo that you saw yesterday?
Dennis, you hit it bang on, dude. I am right with you on that. For the longest while now, past couple of weeks we've been on the podcast, I've always been saying like, I'm excited, but it's also, EA's behind this, and, we'll get into some more EA stuff in just a little bit, but especially after seeing what IGN got to play, and a lot of people who got to get this exclusive demo to try out Anthem, like a little bit of it, they're finally getting me on board. I am actually excited for this game, so I am, fingers crossed, I am praying that EA doesn't ruin this one for me, because everything I'm seeing right now, I'm like, okay, all right, you have sold me, you have won my money at this point to buy this game. I am very excited for it, and especially after the gameplay we saw on IGN and just all the gameplay that's out there right now, this game looks like it's legit. Like, it looks like they're actually pulling this off. So I don't know. I'm excited. What can I say? I'm on board.
Yeah. Dorian, what do you think? Because you never played Mass Effect or Dragon Age, right?
No, I haven't played any of those, and to be honest, Anthem, like, really, like, before this the demo came up or anything like that, it really wasn't on my radar or anything like that at all. But once I saw like I saw 20-30 minutes of one of the players that got the exclusive demo, and like Caboose said, it looks incredible. I was like, damn, okay, like this looks fire. And the suits you're talking about, the Javelin suits or whatever, it kind of reminded me of like a early version of the Iron Man suits from the movie. So that was really cool to see them like using that and flying around. And we talked about it off camera. You said it kind of, this is what you wanted Fallout 76 to be in a way.
Instead of an open world MMO style where it's like a ton of players on a server running around, they should have made Fallout 76 where it was just like Fallout 3 or Fallout 4, but you could team up with 3 other people and do the whole story together, which this is what this is like, where it's like you're doing, because I know they're focusing there's an emphasis on story because BioWare's basically, well, that's what they're known for. They started with Knights of the Old Republic, and then they moved on to Mass Effect and Dragon Age. And even though it's it's fun playing their games, they always have like characters and storylines and whatnot, and they want to make sure that even though this is less RPG-ish, that they still include that into this. And that's kind of what I liked about that demo, is like watching them play it, and then also like they're doing missions together and there's an actual storyline. Who knows, like I said, I don't know how good the storyline is and how well they'll weave it in there, but I know they're trying to.
Yeah, like that's what I'm excited about. Is I like more story-based games, and so if you can do a story-based game with like online with your friends and like doing missions and shit, I'm all in for that.
Yeah, agreed. And then so let's go. Leads to the next topic, is because what I was looking forward to is me, you, and Caboose playing this morning online together. Because I was like, damn, then we can play some of the missions, and So what happened, Caboose?
Listen, I was all on top of this last night. I was double, triple, quadruple checking to make sure. Okay, I need to get EA access in order to have the VIP demo that is available today. There are multiple different ways that you can get access to the VIP demo, but the easiest for me was, I have EA access. I can just get the VIP demo. I'm good to go. And then supposedly, if you get the VIP demo, you can also invite 3 friends to join you in the VIP demo. Easy peasy. There's just a link you got to go to. Make sure your EA account is connected to the Xbox account that has EA access, and it's no problem. And I'm looking at the screen right now where I'm supposed to be to get my friend codes, and it's telling me that I don't have VIP access to the Anthem demo. And I can promise you, I was literally sitting in the menu when the servers were full, and that they still are. I have access to the VIP demo. So I don't know what's happening. Honestly, I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing. Like, on one side, obviously it's bad. Servers are getting overloaded. Nobody's really getting a chance to play. But it also means that there's a lot of people that want to play.
Yes.
So this could be a really good sign for when the game does come out, that there's going to be quite a player base here, So if it lives up to the hype, we could see a new, kind of destiny taken over here. This new IP could become quite a franchise. The only scary thing is, EA. We'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah. So I don't know what the hell's going on. Even just before we started filming the podcast, I was like, okay, let me see if just for a second, it's been like an hour now. Let me see if just for a second I can jump in and play. The servers had to have been fixed, and I'm sitting there. It let me get in. It let me choose, do I want a male or a female voice? I did all my settings, and then it sat there for about 20 minutes just saying it was going to load into the server. So servers are messed up right now, which is not a good sign this is the private version of the demo. This is the version of the demo where, you need exclusive access to get in. I can only imagine when this thing goes public and anyone can just straight up download it. this not going to survive.
This is a few weeks from now. This is February 22nd was when the game's
out.
Yeah, it was coming. Yeah, this is the first AAA title of the year. I mean, I know we'll talk about this in a little bit, but Resident Evil 2 came out, and that's, a big game for a lot of people, but that's a remake of an older game, where this is the first kind of like, oh man, this is the one people are waiting for.
Yeah.
And it's like a good bad thing, because it's like, yes, it's great that there's so many people wanting to play this, and maybe that's why the servers are on. But if you are worried that on day one that you get the game and you can't play it, that's kind of a bit of a concern. It's not that far away. It's like what I said about like the Fallout 76. It's like you start doing beta testing like a few weeks before you. I know they had like a smaller one in December for Anthem, but still, like, you're waiting. Like, stop doing that. Do more beta testing. Like, besides like just the internal staff, you gotta get people around the world playing this game, because that's how it's gonna be.
It builds hype, and it lets people give you feedback before the game comes out. It's always a beneficial thing to have a beta.
So the servers are at capacity. People are attempting to log on. It's not getting past that. And so I guess EA has issued a following statement on Twitter. We're adding more server capacity to the Anthem demo right now. Hang tight while we work to get everyone into the game. So I don't know. This podcast is going up in a little bit. Maybe you'll get in by that time, and maybe we'll have a video up on the channel. But I know that was our plan, was this morning, me, you, and Dorian, we're going to rock out.
With an EA tripping.
3 people on this thing. We're going to, do a little first impressions video. So first impression is that we can't play the game.
First impression, for my first impression is that EA, that's probably going into our next subject too, is EA needs to get their stuff together.
But so we'll talk more about Anthem, hopefully next week. Hopefully we'll get some Caboose will get some time on that demo, and maybe those friend invites will work.
Hopefully.
So speaking of EA, we talked about a little bit about this before, about EA canceling that open world Star Wars game. And then Caboose, you came out with a video about this. Tell us a little bit more about this. The Rogue One screenwriter kind of blasting EA for canceling this game.
Yeah. So there's a whole kind of storyline here, right? So to take you to the beginning, there was a time where but before the open world Star Wars game, there was a linear Star Wars game that was being worked on. And I believe, I think it was the creative director who worked at Naughty Dog, who worked on one of the Uncharted games. She was signed on to work on this Star Wars game. And that ended up getting scrapped, and basically all the resources from that game was put towards making the open world game. And then that game got scrapped. So Gary Whitta, who is the screenwriter who worked on Rogue One, a Star Wars story, he was on the Kind of Funny Games podcast, and he went to town on EA. He was like, listen, these guys should be embarrassed. They've completely mismanaged the Star Wars license. And he said, I think at one point he was like, if I was an EA shareholder, I would be effing furious. And it's harsh for sure. He really went in. But it's really hard to disagree with him, because he's absolutely right. In the time that EA has owned the Star Wars license, they have put out Star Wars Battlefront, which had no story and an entire... there was just a cloud of complaints on that game. And then they put out Star Wars Battlefront 2, which you'd think they'd had to have learned from the mistakes. There's a story in there, maybe not so long, but at least it's something. But all the microtransactions and the big problem that was done through that, just, oh my goodness, it was an absolute disaster. And then the only other 2 games that could have potentially had some promise, they canceled both of them. So what's going on at EA with Star Wars? What do they plan to do with this license outside of Star Wars Battlefront? All that's really left is this Jedi Order game, or Jedi Fallen Order from Respawn. And we've heard nothing or seen nothing from it.
And it's supposed to come out this fall, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it's supposed to come out this year. So what's going on?
Oh man! And the moment he says it was going to be an Uncharted Star Wars, like Dorian's getting all excited and then mad.
That's what I was just about to say. Is like when he said us like Uncharted meets Star Wars. Like I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I've watched most of the movies, so it's like I would have loved to have this franchise. Like if you're going to build a world, like EA, what are you doing? Like we have all these other franchises being built. We got Batman, we got Spider-Man, we got all these other universes being built, and I don't understand why can't they just get it together? Like give us a simple. I don't know what the storyline will be, but if it's something related to Uncharted, just like imagine the other features, like because there's an Uncharted online mode and all that stuff, so they could have incorporated they could have incorporated the online stuff while still giving us a solid story. So I really want EA to figure this out because I'd be down to get an Uncharted Star Wars game.
And supposedly the reason that they canceled the linear Star Wars game, the one that was supposed to be like Uncharted, is because they didn't want it to be Star Wars Uncharted. So Gary Whitta, he says this on the podcast. He's like, don't you think hiring the creative director who worked on Uncharted would be the #1 mistake if you don't want your Star Wars game to be like Uncharted?
And why wouldn't you want?
I know.
Why wouldn't you want one of the premier franchises in the video game world right now? Like it doesn't make any sense. It's a AAA title that is exclusive to the Sony PlayStation that people will buy a Sony PlayStation to play this franchise. So why not come out with a game that's, not a carbon copy, but like, if you want to do it in the vein of and you do that same quality, it'll be cross-platform. I think you sell a ton of these things.
Hell yeah, I'm at because I know we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but I know a shit ton of people that just went out and bought the PS4 to play Spider-Man. So there's definitely some diehard Star Wars fans that are gonna be like, wait, there's a Star Wars game I can play. Hell yeah, let me get a new console. So I definitely it would have been a big move to release something, but I don't know. It's getting frustrating to a point where it's like EA, come on now.
Yeah, I was reading some of the comments in the video you did, Caboose, and a lot of people are just angry and frustrated with EA. Some people are saying like, look, if EA wants to make Star Wars games, that's cool. Some people are saying that the problem is they're the only ones making it, that it's not distributed amongst different developers and publishing places, and so just putting all their eggs in one basket. And to be fair, like I played a little of the first Battlefront, not that much, and I'm just not a big like PvP online player. In the second game, I played the story mode, and I actually enjoyed. I didn't finish it yet, but like I enjoyed what I played of it. But it just seems like for a property like this, it's like there should be tons of Star Wars games. Right?
I bought the first. I played the first Battlefront, and then like I didn't love it, so I wasn't too I wasn't excited, or I wasn't like rushing to get the second one. But then my friend bought it, and I played a little bit on there, and I was like, yeah, I'm all right. I don't need to purchase this one. So like I was fine with the first Battlefront, but I would like to see something different from them.
Well, it's fine to have the Battlefront game, like a FPS online shooter, but it's like then you should have your RPG. You should have a game like TIE Fighter, where it's like battling in plane, in ships, and like just run the whole gamut of different games.
Yeah, just diversify the
And you know what? Like if you look at Marvel games and kind of their mantra right now and what they're trying to do in their gaming brand, it is the ideal way to go. You take what is Star Wars and just go to the best developers to make those games. I don't know exactly how the gaming world works, but I'd imagine if Lucasfilm and whatever the team that works on the gaming side went to Naughty Dog and they were like, hey, can you make us an Uncharted style Star Wars game? They'd probably be like, let's think about that. Oh wait, yes, absolutely, literally no one wouldn't want that. Like with Marvel games, that's what they did. They went to Insomniac and they created an incredible Spider-Man game. They're going to Second Dinner and they're going to make a smaller scale Marvel game. Square Enix is out there working on this massive Avengers game, and that totally works because that's what they do. They make those bigger scaled games. So like, why? That's one of the comments that I saw on the video that we put up that I totally agreed with, is that it's really not just that EA is mismanaging the Star Wars license. It's that they're the only publisher that's allowed to use this Star Wars license right now. And it's what's ruining, unfortunately, the gaming side of Star Wars. There is so much potential here.
Yeah, there should be 2 Star Wars games a year. You know what I mean? I agree. Of 2 different types of genres, and then that way people like get excited about one. Maybe you don't care about one. Like, to be honest, like I wouldn't probably get like a TIE Fighter or X-Wing game, you know, just because I suck at flying. Driving and flying games, I suck at. I don't mind. Like, I played, like, I enjoyed playing the flying missions in Battlefront 2, but I wouldn't buy a whole game just for that. But I'm not everyone. Other people may love it, and they want to play it. Maybe they want to do PvP. That's fine. But it's just like, just have the choices. So
right now, all we got is Battlefront, and they're 0 for 2 on that front.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to our third topic. So Resident Evil. This is actually it's 2 news stories in one. Resident Evil 2, the remake, releases today. You can actually check out on the Clutter Games YouTube channel. We have a bunch of videos. We have a developer interview with the producer and the director that Copster did. We have a review that Copster did for it. We have an unboxing of the collector's edition as well. And I'm working on it, and maybe out by the time this podcast is up. Maybe not. Maybe it'll be up in a few hours. But we did a thing with Josh McCouga, our resident scaredy cat. Yeah, so he played he's never played Resident Evil before. Everyone knows him as playing a lot of these horror VR games and freaking the F out. And so we had Copster kind of guide him through playing Resident Evil 2. So that will be up on the channel. So Resident Evil 2 comes out. You can check all that stuff. But the bigger news is that a report on Deadline says that Netflix is in early stages of creating and producing a live-action Resident Evil series. So we have the movies, which I am not a fan of.
I'm a fan of like one of them, but like just in general.
I can't. I can't. I tried. Those are not for me. I think this is a different thing. I think they're going to take this much more because the movies are much more campier, you know?
Oh yeah.
Where I feel like this will be much more serious and more akin to, let's say, The Walking Dead, you know? Obviously more of a sci-fi slant to it with Umbrella. So what do you guys think? Are you guys down for this?
Yeah, this is exciting to me because it seems like they're confident in doing more of these adaptations, whether it's like them taking it more roots from the video game or the movie. But it seems like they're confident with what they got with The Witcher, so they're like, hey, let's start knocking more. Like if nobody else is going to do it right, let's try to attempt it. So I'm like, we always use word, but cautiously optimistic because I trust Netflix with most of their adaptations to bring stuff to life. So I think they're going to do this one justice because I can't talk about it yet, but I started watching Umbrella Academy, and if it's something in the same, if it has a similar tone to that, then I think it can work really well because it's they knocked it out of the park. So I'm excited to see what they do with this.
Caboose?
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, Netflix might be, if The Witcher turns out to be really good, if that series turns out to be really good, they might be the saving grace to the video game movie curse, you know, by just being like, forget the movies. Let's make these into high-budget TV series. And that's fine with me. Honestly, I hate The Walking Dead. I think it's one of the worst shows on television.
Are you saying like all of it, or more recently? Because I'm one of those people that was a fan that turned into a hater.
Oh, for sure.
I was out after they killed Glenn.
Season 1 and even season 2. Some people don't like season 2. I love season 2.
I love season 2.
Yes. John Bernthal is phenomenal.
Oh, he's my favorite part of The Walking Dead.
Me too. He's so good.
I was in it until season 4 is when I started to turn, I think. I was like,
I think as soon as they got to the prison, I was like, man.
Well, I was excited about the prison. I was excited about the prison because I read the comic book, and that was one of my favorite parts. The problem is they dragged it out, and then you saw that they just dragged everything out in general. So
Resident Evil could be a nice kind of refresher,
Mm-hmm.
a palate cleanse for zombies on television. And yeah, that could be sweet. Get Leon in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if they really want to take this as far as they can go, you can get there's a whole pantheon of Resident Evil characters that you can go and choose from. You know, done a ton of different villains. Nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got like Tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
Is that's from Resident Evil 2, right? If I'm correct.
Yeah, I think so.
They got so many they can choose from. Wesker, like, oh my God, there's like 3 seasons of television that I just named for you right there off of those 3 villains from Resident Evil lore that they could totally do. So yeah, Netflix sounds like a good home for this to take place, and I'm looking forward to it if it ends up being true.
And I think it makes sense for them to do more of these video game type adaptations. Rather, it seems like they're trying to get away from, especially with the Marvel and Netflix stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're trying to get away from like doing straight up comic book adaptations, especially from the bigger franchises. So them going to something like this and trying to find their niche within this is, I think, is a smart move.
Yeah, because obviously Marvel's going to head to their own the Disney Plus streaming service, and they're going to start creating. We heard of the Loki series. I think there's going to be a Scarlet Witch series. So they're not going to have Marvel anymore. And so if they're picking up The Witcher and Resident Evil, and what if this is the solution to the video game movie problem, where maybe it doesn't fit movies and it fits TV series better? What if The Witcher's great? Resident Evil is great. What if the Halo thing on Showtime's great? Then it's like, okay, maybe this is the way to go for video game adaptations instead of these big budgeted movies. Maybe high budget television series.
Yeah.
So I don't want to. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I don't want to rain on this hype parade that we have here, but I'm reading through this IGN article that first reported this, and it's mentioned in the article that Constantine Film, the production company behind the movies, the Resident Evil movies, is supposedly involved in the adaptation of the series here. So almost everything that I said, I am now a little worried.
Taking it back, backtracking.
I'm just hoping that Netflix is making sure that it lives up to the quality that they are hoping out of it.
I think
they ain't gonna be cheap series, man. This isn't like, hey, well, let's just try out. This is like some sort of like rom-com that's set in modern times and people just walking around apartment buildings or something like that. This is they're gonna put some hefty money in this thing. I'm sure they put hefty money in The Witcher.
Yeah.
So, and it seems like they're happy with that, and maybe this will be it. And, with this whole Resident Evil 2 just coming out and a lot of buzz about this remake, and I don't know. I
want them to use the iconic characters. Like with the movies, they kind of just they took a little bit of liberty with it, and they involved some characters that we knew, but they were because of the fact that we had Mia Jovovic's character being completely original to the Resident Evil franchise, as far as I know. It just, it takes away from it a little bit. Give me, Leon Kennedy. Give me all those characters that people know from Resident Evil lore, because that's what works and that's what people already love from this franchise. So I hope they don't deviate from that too much, and they don't, it's fine to have a little bit of originality in there and have it be unique. But I want it to be sort of an adaptation of things we're already familiar with, because that's what's already working for Resident Evil.
Yeah, I have a feeling they're, for several reasons, are not going to bring Alice, Mila Jovovich's character into this one. They want people to confuse it with the movies. Mila Jovovich, is known for the movies. She's not coming in to do the TV series, and I think they want a fresh start. They want it to look and feel different. This is a guess. I'm just speculating here. I'm just saying, as someone who's like, I'm not a diehard Resident Evil fan like Cobster is, but I do enjoy the franchise from time to time, and I like the lore of it, and something that's darker would appeal more to me.
You think it'd be smarter if they tried to follow more of the video games rather than try to embrace the movies?
Yes, for sure.
What do you think the fans will respond to better? Like
I think they'll love
the video games more.
Yeah, they'll love it. Yeah. I mean, there's people who enjoy those Resident Evil movies for what they are, like just campy fun. But I forgot who just loves those things. Oh man,
Roka.
I don't know.
That's the name I had in my head too. I was like, he loves Transformers. Does he love
Yeah, he's known for some hot takes.
Can't enjoy him. All right, moving on. Mortal Kombat 11. You guys went to the event. We talked about it, but there's been some updates since then. Caboose, you put a bunch of videos on the channel. You want to do like a summary of kind of the updates that we've gotten from Mortal Kombat? I know one was like this skin for Scarlet, but that's only going to be released in Russia.
Yeah, so it's really weird. So the reveal event happened. There was multiple reveal events all around the world. You know, we knew there was one in LA, of course. There was also one that was very publicly advertised that was taking place in London. That was kind of, you know, the LA and the London one were the main events. You know, those were the ones where there was the most pushing it. But there was apparently also a reveal event that took place in Russia. And during the reveal event, they showed off a brand new skin for Scarlet, one of the newly revealed characters to be in MK11. And the skin is it's a take, a Cold War take on her character. And this is in line with what we saw some certain skins for in MKX. They had like a whole skin pack of Cold War costumes for different characters in the game. So like I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. You know, they're just doing that again with MK11. But it turns out apparently it's a skin that's exclusive to Russia, which I mean, I get it, you know, Cold War and the theme and everything, but it definitely doesn't make sense considering the Cold War skins from MKX were not exclusive to Russia as far as I know. I mean, some people might know a little bit more than me on that one. You know, I wasn't fully covering MKX and fully invested in all the news and everything, all the updates coming out of the game when I was coming out. So maybe it was a Russian exclusive thing for that as well. So in that case, it's probably just going to be a timed thing. And I think regardless, it's probably just going to be a timed thing, which is, you know, it's fine. Whatever. Like let them have it for a couple weeks, months, whatever it might be. But I hope we get the skin because it's cool.
Yeah, it is a
awesome.
It is a dope skin.
You know, it looks sweet. And then on top of that, there's been a lot of speculation based on the trailers that we've seen about characters that are probably going to be on the roster, but haven't necessarily been officially revealed to the roster yet. You know, characters like Liu Kang and Kung Lao were seen in the gameplay trailer. They have a lot to do in the story. That's just a given, though. They're like main faces to the franchise. No way they weren't going to be in there. But also a lot of speculation through the in-game menus. Dorian, I don't know if you remember when we got to play, but there was those cool pieces of artwork whenever you select a game mode. And some of the artwork showed off characters that aren't necessarily revealed to be in the game yet. Kano was on there, Cassie Cage, Rain. If you go into one of the other game modes, you can see artwork of Noob Saibot. So a lot of cool characters potentially confirmed through these various different things, and it's filling up the roster. And I'm excited because with MKX, they took a big risk and they took a big chance in just creating a ton of brand new characters to the franchise. But it seems what they're doing here with MK11, they're like, okay, we overdid it a little bit. Let's just give you guys what you want. Let's give you the characters that you want. The Noob Saibots, the Reigns, you know, those fan favorites that was missing from MKX are probably coming back this time around. And then just they're going to sprinkle in a little bit of those brand new characters as well.
So you think we'll see so Cassie Cage, it might return. Do you think we'll see the other kids return as well? Or you think it's just maybe we'll just get Cassie because it deals with the storyline? Because I would like to see the other kids in there, because I think that their storyline in Mortal Kombat X was pretty cool. So I personally would love to see the rest of them join. Maybe they're a bit older, got some new weapons, some new moves.
I do agree with you. I mean, I liked actually a lot of the kids. The only one that I thought just didn't really work just because, I mean, her moveset was cool and I got it, but Jacqueline was she was just okay. But, you know, like Kung Jin was awesome. Takeda was cool. Cassie Cage, for sure, I think 100% she's in it because she was like a main character in MKX. And if Sonya's going to play another big role again, we're probably going to get Johnny Cage back. It would be a big missed opportunity to not have Cassie in there. And then there's even supposedly some in-game footage of her character through like a behind-the-scenes trailer. So I think like she's in it, you know.
I'd be okay with
honestly.
Oh, sorry.
I would like to see all the other kids as well. I mean, I wouldn't mind them updating them and give them a new move set or something.
I'd be okay with Takeda not coming back because playing against him on. I mean, he in the game mode, that's fine. But when people use him online though, like it's spam and the teleporting and all that. It's I'm not a fan of that. But if you can just bring him in just for the story, I'll be okay. But keep him offline.
All right. Well, I mean, listen, I knew you threw down the gauntlet the other day for MKX.
Yeah, I'm serious. I've
been playing a lot of Triborg. Specifically, I've been playing as Smoke. And Dorian, like, you don't want my Smoke.
You don't want
no Smoke. All right, if you're trying to 1v1, like
I mean that we might have to do that. That could be its own video, Caboose versus Dorian Mortal Kombat. Because I've been talking a big game. Like I talk about Overwatch, but Mortal Kombat X online, you can't see me. Like I think my record right now, I've played over like 230 some matches on the Xbox, and I think I'm like 167, and then subtract that from the 200, and then that's how many losses I have.
That you're really okay. We're gonna have to play.
No, dude, I'm fire. Like you get me Kenchi, like I'm in like I get my zone. I got a little bit of music playing on the speaker on Alexa, and then you play that, and I'm online. I'm just ready to go. Like once I get in the zone, like I get a warm up match or two, I'll get beat. But then after that, you can't see me.
All right.
So if you see me on Xbox Online, it's my user is Collider Games #2. So check it out.
All right, moving on. Well, we'll be following Mortal Kombat definitely until it releases. Another news, back to Fallout 76 news.
Yes.
So there was a rumor going around that Fallout 76, which was a game that was I think $60 when it came out, then they dropped to $50, and I think right now they're about $40 for the game, was going to go to free to play. There was a rumor going around. So this one guy on Twitter, his name's XGTXDopey. He wrote to Bethesda, said, if Fallout 76 goes to free to play, I want my money back. Straight up. 500 atoms ain't going to cut it this time. As a diehard fan, there'd be no coming back to that slap in the face. And Bethesda wrote back to him, there is no truth to this rumor. So yeah, I think the rumors were going around like, look, this game is not being received very well, and that they wanted to turn into some sort of free to play game like Fortnite, where you could download it and play it, but then obviously if you want certain things, you would have to pay for it. But yeah, there's no truth to this, and I'm glad, because even though it's not well received, it's like it would be a slap in the face to the people myself who paid for the game. It's just one of those things where it's like I'm hoping that the game becomes something different in a few months, and then they'll start playing it again. But being free to play, it's like I don't think it would help them. I just don't know how it's already kind of got a bad reputation, so I just don't know, even being free, how many people would gravitate towards the game. What do you think, Caboose?
Yeah, no, absolutely, because your game has to be free to play if you can reel in a few people to spend some money on your microtransactions. And I don't know anyone who's spending money on Fallout 76 microtransactions, so that's just not going to work out. So yeah, it would have, honestly, it would have been the nail in the coffin for Fallout 76 if they ever decided to go free to play this early, since the release. The game's only been out 2 months.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This would have been bad news, especially for people like yourself, Dennis, who spent quite a bit of money on the game. Either you'd have to be compensated quite a bit, not just 500 atoms, maybe whatever the equivalent of $70-80 is in atoms you'd have to get. Because there's people who bought the game, there's people who are dedicated to this franchise, or even who just want to check out the franchise for the first time, like myself, and bought the game, and for it to go to free to play would just be like, that would be like last ditch effort for them. It wouldn't feel like they're genuinely trying to save the game, more so than they're just reaching for scraps at this point, just trying to get any sort of push for this game. But look, that's not what's happening here.
Yeah, I mean, games have gone from paid to free to play, but it's like, I think Warcraft, World of Warcraft was like you paid, and then now it's free to play, but it's I don't know how many years it took to get to that level.
And
so
being a paid member has a lot more benefits than just being the free to play, you know?
And I don't think it would do anything.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, let's say it's free to play, right? Like, I don't think people are going to be jumping on there.
Not at all.
To play the game, even despite it being free. So I just don't see any benefit for them. I don't see any benefit for... Because the problem is it's like... You can get a lot of people in there, but if there isn't as much to do as people want, they're not going to stay.
Yeah, like the only reason if they would consider doing it now or something, the only reason I would even think about it is just so I could jump in and be in a conversation with you guys to see what you guys are talking about. But you got me effed up if you think I'm going to pay for some microtransactions. So I wouldn't do that. So yeah, this is a good move because I wouldn't do it.
It would have been bad.
Either way, I'm probably not going to get it until y'all give me the clear that it's been
like
updated.
Like maybe 6 months from now, me and Caboose will be playing. Like, oh, but they really fixed a lot of stuff. I mean, they're going the right track of like adding PvP, like true PvP, and like adding the player vending, and they're going to put in more events, and so they're on the right path. They're just not there yet. I think the decision to not include NPCs was a bad one. So
it's what honestly, it's probably what killed the game.
Yeah, and I think it seems like they know that they messed up because when Caboose, when we went to the Rage 2 demo, which is still they pushed the embargo back to the 30th, but the director did say like that this game is going to be more geared towards it will listen to the fans. We will be able to like make changes and stuff like that. So it seems like they're taking more of that route, being able to listen to what fans get feedback and be able to adjust and update things as it goes. So that's one thing I'm excited about with that.
All right. All right. Last thing I want to talk about before we get into Twitter questions. This is something you guys went to the Mortal Kombat 11 event. Yeah. And I was planning on going with you guys, but I ended up going to the Void VR to experience the Star Wars Secrets of the Empire VR thing. So I think on a previous episode I talked about we did the Wreck-It Ralph one.
Yes.
Which was a lot of fun. And this time we did the Star Wars Secrets of the Empire, and we actually did it with Sam Witwer, who voices one of the characters in that experience. And so we filmed it, we edited it. If you watch the latest episode of Collider Jedi Council, we actually played it in there. We'll release the video probably on the Collider Videos channel and the Games channel maybe next week. But if you want to watch it now, you can watch it in the Jedi Council. And it was just a lot of fun. It was cool. I don't want to spoil anything from it because it has a little of a story. It's an experience. Like I played the Wreck-It Ralph one, and that was fun too. But obviously, I have much more love for the Star Wars franchise. Not that I don't like Wreck-It Ralph, but Star Wars is a whole franchise. It was very cool. And that VR experience is just, it's amazing. Just being able to, you feel like you're in that world like for a good 10 minutes. I mean, you played.
And so I was going to ask you, so with the Wreck-It Ralph one, it was like a story continuation from like the post credits from Wreck-It Ralph. Is this one? Is it its own single story? Is it connected to? Oh, okay.
I would say it's almost like a side mission to Rogue One.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. But it's not like, it's like loosely connected.
Okay.
So, because you actually have like Diego Luna
in there walking with you.
No. Wow. He's not in there, but he's.
Oh, okay.
He does kind of he kind of sets up the you have to go into the loading place and watch the introduction. He's in there, so it's cool. It's very cool.
So Star Wars games have found their footing in VR.
Isn't there like a Darth Vader VR?
Well, I mean, this game is or it's not a game; it's an experience.
Okay.
You can pick up a blaster, you can fire, and it's It's XILM.
Did you have the suits on too? Like,
yeah,
was there something similar where, like, I know in the Wreck-It Ralph one, like, if they shocked you, like,
yeah,
okay, cool.
Yeah. It's definitely worth checking out. It's
that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think it's around like a 10 to 15 minute experience, but it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is what the future of VR.
And don't they isn't there a Darth Vader VR game coming out?
There is for Oculus Quest. Yeah. So, and I think we're in touch with the XILMX lab, and we'll probably get a preview of that as well.
Dope.
So we'll definitely talk about that game as well. So yeah, if you guys live near a Void, definitely recommend checking it out. And they have they have the Wreck-It Ralph one, they have a Star Wars one, and they have this horror one that we haven't tried yet, but I heard is really cool. We also went with Jeff Dye, and he loved it so much he went back with his friends. He brought his friends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if it was like the next day, but like really, really soon after we had done it, he went back and he brought his friends and they did like all 3 of them.
Damn.
So, nice.
Yeah.
So we got to get Makuga on the horror one.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We definitely should.
So next time I'm in LA, we got to do it then.
Oh yeah. For sure.
We got to go.
For sure. All right. I think that's it for the topics, but let's talk about some Twitter questions. What are people asking, Dorian?
All right. So Levi Pegler asked, could video games take over movies one day? I mean, the animation and graphics are so good that people look real and you can't tell the difference. So studios just animate people instead of finding actors and locations, etc.
I think there will be some blurring of lines. I definitely think you already kind of seen it. It's not a video game, but if you're talking about something like what was it, The Jungle Book, or now Lion King, where those aren't humans, but they're creatures that now it's weird. They call it a live action film, but really it's completely animated. Yeah. It's just animated in the style of real life. You know what I mean? And they're going to start to get that way with humans. I mean, we still are in the uncanny valley where it's not, you can still tell that it's not real, but they're getting closer and closer. And so there just might be this blending where I think like VR plus this CG getting closer and closer to real life, and there's going to be these movies, whether it's an interactive movie like a video game or just a straight up movie that's fully CG but looks real. I think that's where we're headed.
It's like we're headed towards Ready Player One's Oasis. So like we'll get there eventually, but yeah, like because I know Robert Rodriguez, he has a movie, a VR movie, like so. Yeah, we're crossing those lines like Bandersnatch. Like you can almost consider that a video game. So stuff like that. Yeah, we're getting slowly closer and closer. What do you think, Caboose?
I think there's a very healthy balance. In my personal opinion, as much as I love games and gaming is like my world, I always find that the purest form of entertainment is going to the movies. For me, it's just there is nothing better than on a Saturday night going watching a movie in the theaters and just having a blast. That's for me is always the purest form of entertainment. But there's a balance. Like they're both really huge industries right now. For instance, we just had Red Dead 2 make close to $1 billion in 3 days, and that was who knows what it's at now. God knows how many sales it's made at this point. So there's a healthy balance. I don't think we'll ever really get to a point where honestly, I don't think we're at a point where movies are doing better than games or games are doing better than movies. They're both doing really, really good. So,
technology gets better. Like I said, it'll blur the lines.
Right.
I see maybe that they'll have like VR theaters, right? Because not everyone will want to buy a VR system and put it in their home, but maybe there's a VR movie that comes out, and then people all go to a theater, put on like a VR headset, and sit in their chairs and experience a movie together.
Like how they do like with the D-box seats, the motion seats for other movies. They can have a theater just specifically for VR stuff one day. That'd be dope. Yeah. So next question.
There's already like VR experiences, so like we're already halfway there in that you don't really have to buy a VR kit to experience VR. So
it's the wave of the future. All right. Griffo asks, this is more suited to you, Caboose. He asks, do you guys think that the something fantastic coming to Spider-Man is new suits or a new DLC with Fantastic Four characters in the game? And if it's the latter, does it open the game up to other characters from Marvel for additional DLCs in the future, or do you think that will be saved for Spider-Man 2?
I think it is just going to be suits. That's what I logically think it is. Some people are now starting to speculate, oh, you know, it's been a while since they've teased this whole something fantastic coming to Spider-Man PS4. So that's why some people are like, could this be straight up an expansion, like a DLC expansion with the Fantastic Four? I don't necessarily think so. I think it's just going to be a suit. And I think the reason that they made the announcement so early is because they were doing this Fantastic Four week, you know, announcing that the Fantastic Four was coming to all these mobile games. And they probably just at that time got the approval to use whatever suit it is that they're working on to put into Spider-Man PS4. And that stuff still, even after Marvel and Sony are like, okay, go ahead, you can make the suit. Then they got to create the 3D renders, and they got to do all the animation process to make sure it's completely polished before they put it into the game. So yeah, I think it's still going to just be a suit. I would love it to be a full-on DLC, but just being logical, like keeping my feet on the ground here, I don't think we're going to get anything too crazy. And apparently Insomniac is going to be streaming Spider-Man PS4 sometime next week. So we could hear about it then, because usually when they're streaming Spider-Man, they know they're going to be prepared for people to ask them 1,000,001 questions that they maybe potentially can't talk about. So they're probably going to be bringing something to deliver for the fans. You know, just either they're going to show it or they're going to tease whatever it is they're potentially working on here. So keep an eye out, Collider Games channel. We'll give you guys some updates when we hear some more things. But like I said, don't think it's going to be anything too big.
Cool. All right, what's the next question?
Christopher Cochran asked, while I think the Star Wars license should leave EA after Fallen Order, I think I like Battlefront 2, and there are a lot of people who do online. DICE is supporting the game, and it's gotten better. Do you think it's still possible for some type of agreement to happen to let them keep supporting it?
Oh, yeah, for sure. They'll even if when EA kind of loses the rights, although I don't think that's going to happen for a little while still, games like Star Wars Battlefront 2, so long as we don't get a Battlefront 3 by then, will still be around. You know, they'll still have updates probably. They'll still be taken care of. Servers will be up and running. You know,
they have to. They have to.
Exactly. They don't just close shop as soon as EA loses the license. So
and they know it's bad for business, because it's like, even though they're not making a profit, let's say, I mean, obviously they want to make a profit off microtransactions, but let's say that went away and they weren't making money. They have to do it just for, you know, basically PR/customer relations, because as soon as, let's say, they lose the license and we're not making any money more off this game anymore, let's just cut it. People are even pissed. People are upset. They're like, I paid for this game from you. I expect support. I mean, look, I'm not saying like they need to have servers 10 years from now, but it should be around for the next few years, because that's what people paid for.
Yep. Halo 3 servers are still up and running, you know, and Halo 3's been out 12 years. So
yeah. All right. So, David Jorda asks, where's your review for Kingdom Hearts? We'll get one as soon as we. Do any of us have the game yet? I don't think we do.
No.
See, I've never played Kingdom Hearts.
Me neither. So
Square Enix. I don't know. We'll have to look into that. It's definitely a title that we want to get coverage for. I just don't. Have we reached out to Square Enix?
I think we did.
Okay. They denied us. Yeah.
No
all right,
love.
we'll see what we can do for you guys.
Yeah, we'll get something on that. And then the next one is from Ryan Crane. He asks, when does a new Splinter Cell game get released?
I don't know. I mean, when was the last game? I know there's been rumors of a show for like the longest time. Or not show, a movie. Sorry.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah, a movie. Splinter Cell, I you know, this might be controversial, but I actually preferred Splinter Cell to Metal Gear Solid. Like, it was just more.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was just more my jam.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I played like the OG Metal Gear, you know, the Nintendo, the NES version, and I quite enjoyed that. But I just found Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, just more my speed, kind of more realistic, less, craziness going on. I like the controls.
Less convoluted.
Yeah. So let's see. The last game was 2013, Blacklist. I don't think I played that. I played Conviction in 2010. Okay. I really like that game. I don't know if future games are saying. Yeah,
I think they're working on one, and there's always been rumblings.
Yeah, but they haven't announced anything though.
Yeah, every major gaming event that happens throughout the year, people are like, "Are we gonna get Splinter Cell?" E3, they were like, "Oh my god, can we get the Splinter Cell announcement finally?" And then the Game Awards, they were like, "Come on, give us the Splinter Cell announcement." And it's pretty crazy how much of a fan base there is backing Splinter Cell as a franchise. So I can't imagine they're not working on it. I can't imagine it's not in development. It's just probably taking some time, and sooner or later we'll see it. We'll see it unveiled.
I'm sure we'll see the game before the movie.
Yes, 100%.
All right, and the last question is from Jason. He asked, "What is your take on the latest news of Metroid Prime 4?" So, I guess this is in relation to, I guess they're rebooting they're starting from scratch again on the Metroid Prime 4 game that was in development at Nintendo. So they're starting from scratch. Yes, and so that's what he's asking about. Like, what are our thoughts on that? It was in development for the Nintendo Switch.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unfortunate, but if that's what they got to do to make sure that they're delivering the best product that they can, then that's what they got to do. It's also what's rumored to have happened to that Batman Arkham game that we've been talking about over at WB Montreal. They were pretty far in development on this whole idea of it being about Damian Wayne being the main antagonist. And then the last that we heard, behind the scenes at least, was that the production on it, the development on it, was completely rebooted. And listen, it's unfortunate. It sucks. It means that we're gonna have to wait a lot longer now. But at the end of the day, if that's what it takes to make sure, listen, this is what we got to do to give the best product to the people, to the consumers, then we have to bite the bullet on that one and just say, hey, it sucks, but it means we'll get a better game because of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things, where they said it didn't meet the Nintendo standards, and honestly, that's a good thing, and that's a benefit of video games, let's say, versus movies. You can only do so much to fix a movie, because once you've shot it, you can reshoot some scenes here and there and whatever, but the core thing is already there. It's very a video game. You can restart, or you can really get in there and change things up much more than you can a movie. So if they took a look at it and was like, look, we got to start from scratch, and maybe they're still pulling stuff from the other game, but they just want to start from scratch. I think it's one of those things where, it's better to do that than to release a game that's crappy. You don't want to ruin I mean, Metroid is, one of the big Nintendo exclusive games, and you don't want, like Zelda and Mario, you don't want that brand to be tarnished. Like, oh, well, the last Metroid game wasn't that great, so so
the balance here, like the way you have to think of it, the broader scale of it is, would you want Metroid 4 to end up being something of the likes of Star Wars Battlefront or Destiny, where it's like, listen, this is the day that you have to reach for this game to come out. No matter which way you do it, the game comes out on this day, so they just rush the project? Or would you want it to end up being something that's like a Mario Odyssey, where they had all the time in the world to work on it and make sure that they perfected it and made the proper game to come out? That's the way that you have to think of it.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not like Duke Nukem, where it's like took a bazillion years and they kept changing.
Yeah.
I mean, but that was a product of like, okay, they just couldn't. They didn't know when to stop. This doesn't sound like the situation. This is more of like it just wasn't there, and they want to make sure it's good. I actually have one question that someone responded to my Twitter, so this will be the last one. Okay. At Raymond Verada writes, a Terminator Salvation VR experience is opening up here in San Jose in a week. I saw how giddy everyone was on Jedi Council with the Star Wars VR. What other franchises would you like to see as a VR game? That's a good question. Like, you can pick any franchise. It could be a video game, it could be a movie, it could be a TV show, it could be anything. what would you like? You could like Mortal Kombat VR. You could, you know what I mean? Like, what would you do?
Shit.
Cool.
A Mortal Kombat VR, and then it's like, what if like Scorpion's like, get over here, and then it hits you in the chest, so it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt as hard.
I could do my own spine rip fatality. You
Bro,
know, in
the
VR
possibilities.
That would be sweet. I mean, honestly, the first thing that popped in my head, but it already exists, was Batman. So that exists. That's the thing. You know, there's already Batman Arkham VR.
Yeah.
So maybe what's next is, I don't know, give me SpiderMan VR. I don't mind getting a little nauseous swinging around. Like, that'd be pretty cool.
This is stupid. The first thing, because when he said TV shows, the first thing I thought of was Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God.
Like the first one was like Brooklyn Nine-Nine VR. That'd be pretty dope. But
You lived it. You walked around on set.
True. But I'm trying to think. Mortal
No need for
Kombat.
VR.
That sounds like a real fun one. There's already a Star Wars one.
Yep.
A Spider-Man one could get dangerous if you're like just swinging your arms and shit. You could hurt somebody, but that'd be pretty cool too. Maybe a Spider-Man one. I'm going with Spider-Man. I think a Spider-Man VR experience would be dope.
Okay.
If there's some way they can incorporate the swinging, like if you're like on a, I don't know, they'd have to build it really weird, but that'd be dope.
Yeah.
What about you, Dennis?
I would go with Game of Thrones. I think that would be an awesome one. But you know how like with the Void VR where like you pick up a blaster, you pick up a sword, right? And they actually have the sword and you like swing. It'd be dangerous. And I think it'd be like a one person thing. Like, cause like the Void, you bring in 3 other people and you can't be swinging around a sword with you know, people there. Even though technically you can actually see them. So but still, it'd still be dangerous. It'd have to be like a single player thing. But yeah, that'd be awesome to go into that world. And then, because I think there was like not a game, but like there was something where like, you could do a VR and you could go to the wall and all that stuff. I think it was like a promo thing a few years ago.
That's cool.
I'm changing mine. It's Ghostbusters.
Oh.
I just watched that movie like 2 days ago,
You know
so now
what?
I'm
Hey,
inspired.
guess what? They have one.
What?
Yep.
Okay.
At the Void VR.
All right.
They have Ghostbusters.
I'm doing that.
I
I'm
don't
not
know
joking.
if this one exists too. Let me know. You guys would know more than me, but I'm changing mine as well. John Wick VR.
I don't think they have one, but that would be pretty cool. So instead of
Give me that.
because like for the Void VR and the Wreck-Out, they give you kind of a long blaster type. For John Wick, they'd have to give you 2 small, pistols, right?
And then a dog.
Honestly, just give me a Max Payne style John Wick game. Like, come on, let's get that going. Keanu Reeves doing the voice and everything. I'd be in.
Yeah, they got a TV series in the works. They got another movie. Might as well just throw in a game there too. Come on, expand the mythos. Yeah,
So, like,
Ghostbusters Dimension. Here we go.
hell yeah.
Oh, okay. So there is one.
Yeah, there is one. And I will send this to Dorian. Look, his dreams come true.
I watched Ghostbusters a few days ago. I know I'm late. Don't give me crap. We already did a whole thing on that.
Saw
But
your review, yeah.
But yeah, so now I'm all team Ghostbusters, and I want to go fight some ghosts. And
I don't know though if they have it at Glendale, right? Because so when we went there, I remember they had the sign for Ghostbusters when we went there, maybe last year, end of last year. Right now it says they have one in Dubai. What's it called? Jack could have done that. They have a city walk in Dubai. Okay, they have the one. There's a Void at the Venetian in Las Vegas that has it.
I'll do it. I'll drive.
But I could have sworn that they had it at the. I don't know if it's the website's not updated or what, but they had it. And maybe the thing is, it does. I think they rotate a lot of this stuff. So yeah,
it'd be smart to bring it back with all this Ghostbuster news, and they got the third one. Yeah, bring it back.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So anyways, that's it for this episode of the Collider Games podcast. Dorian, where can people find you?
You already know you can find me on Twitter at Dorian Parks and Rec, because Parks and Rec is better than The Office, but also watch Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And you can find me on Instagram at Dorian Parks.
Caboose, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at CabooseEK and right here on the Collider Games channel.
And you guys can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero, Instagram, Dennis.tzng. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Collider Games. Also, you can find this podcast on the Collider Factory feed. We also have a bunch of feeds for Movie Talk, our Collider Sports, Jedi Council, Heroes. Yeah, and like I said, if you want to watch the Void VR Star Wars video, check out the latest episode of Jedi Council. I will also post separate videos, like break it out. I think we'll post them next week for Collider Games and for the Collider videos. channel. But until next time, we'll see you guys later.